Hi, this is Richard with Sewing Machine Tips and Tricks, and today we have a Janome Memory Craft 6600 that we're going to service, and we're going to make 4 different videos on it. The first one is going to be how to use it, so how to thread it, all that, and then testing it to see what problems that it has. I talk to the customer about the machine when it comes in, get an idea of what's going on with it. Then I like to test it and see what I see before I actually tear into it. So I've got a better idea if there's something that they didn't tell me, or if there's inconsistencies or something. The second video will be tearing down of the machine, and I'll go over a few different aspects in the machine, some of the boards, the knife, so on and so forth. Then the third video will be on the actual cleaning, servicing of the machine. So cleaning all the old oil and grease and stuff out of it, then re-lubricating it and getting it ready to put back together. Then the fourth video will actually be on reassembly and then testing it again to make sure that everything's working right. This particular machine is a machine that I recently done a video on for E1 error code. So when they brought it in, they wanted it serviced, but it had an E1 error code, and I've already fixed that. And if you're having that E1 error code and you want to watch that video and know more about it, there will be a link down in the description. You can go click that and check that out. That being said, I guess we need to go ahead and get started with this first part. So anyway, so the first thing that we're going to have to do is, what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn it on. I'm going to make sure that it comes on and works. Now, I do know that it already works since I've already done work on it, but this is part of what I do. Okay, so I'm double checking that everything comes on like it should. That way, if there is any problem before I open it, I know that there either is or is not a problem with anything coming on. I'm going to put the pressure foot down and just test and see if it runs or not. And it runs just like it should. So that looks good. All right, so now we will go ahead and thread this machine. I'm going to check. We do not have any bobbin thread, so I'm going to have to get some bobbin thread on it. So yeah, I've got a bobbin, and we're going to go ahead and wind it. So we will put this thread guide up here, and we'll put a blue thread on the lower thread here. I will put this up. That way, just make sure that it comes off the spool easier. Now, what I do with my bobbin, I put it right there. All right, so when you're winding your bobbin, it shows up here how to do that. You can see that. But this piece right here is your tensioner for your bobbin. You absolutely have to use that tensioner, otherwise your thread on your bobbin will just look like crap. It'll just be a wadded mess, and you won't be able to sew on it. You'll either have to cut it all off or just throw the bobbin away and get another bobbin. So make sure that you use this. Now, there's 2 different ways to do this. Whichever way works best for you. You can run this like this, so your thread comes this way. If for whatever reason your thread starts popping out of this when you're trying to wind your bobbin, another thing you can do is you can come around the other way like so, and you can cross that thread. Okay, so it crosses itself, and that helps. Doing that, if it's popping out on you, helps to keep the thread from popping out of this. It's like it holds itself in. And since that's the way I've got it threaded, I'm just going to leave it that way. Now, getting ready to wind your bobbin, you're going to take your thread and you're going to run it inside the bobbin and then out the little hole. All right, just like that. Now, there are a couple of ways of doing this. you can actually go ahead and put this on there and hold this thread and wind it. I don't like to do that. I don't like to hold the thread and stuff. I like to let everything work itself. So I will take this thread, I'll run it up through that hole. Now I'll run it across this hole right here, just like this, that the post of the bobbin winder goes through. And what that's going to do, as I put this on here, it's going to cause that post to hold that thread. So you can see now I'm pulling on this and it's not coming out because it's being held. I'm going to pull this thread a little bit so that I don't have anything loose. All right, now I will kick this over, or no, actually kick that over. And it tells me to press the bobbin winder key on this, which is right here. And here we go. And it's winding itself. Doing just fine. You see it's going up and down by itself. That's caused from the tension. All right. And as the thread winds and builds on itself, it pushes itself up and down. That's the way it's supposed to work. And then this should disengage it all by itself if it's set correctly. If it's not set correctly, you can loosen this screw and turn this to where you want it. The further you turn this in, the less thread you'll have on this. The more you turn this out, the more thread you'll have on this, if that makes sense. If you've got any questions on that, let me know. Okay, so let me get my scissors. Oh, and we will go ahead and cut this. Right there. Well, there we go. All right, now I'm going to unthread this and take this thread off here, just like so. All right, now take that excess thread. You don't want it getting caught on anything inside the bobbin case, so pull it out and cut it off, just like that. Now I'm going to open the bobbin case up. All right, I am going to take my thread. It's coming off the bobbin facing me. I'm going to drop it down in. Now I'm going to hold this, put my finger there so that I can't pull that, and I'm going to pull it around so it won't turn. All right, so basically what it just did, the thread went in right here and went right into here, which is your tensioner. Got pulled into the tensioner and came around. Okay, now it's ready to be pulled up when I get the rest of the machine threaded. All right, if you got any questions on that, let me know. And now I'm going to thread the rest of the machine. So I'm using a separate color. That way when I'm sewing, I've got good reference between the upper and lower threads. There's no question in my mind if there's a problem. When I'm sewing, if there's a problem with the thread, there's not going to be any question in my mind what thread has the problem, whether it's lower thread or upper thread. Okay, so I will put this on, run it through this thread guide. Maybe put it on wrong, just like that, and then through this thread guide. Okay, now before I go any further, I'm going to lift my presser foot. It's absolutely vital that you lift your presser foot before threading any machine, because it opens your tension discs. All right, otherwise when you sew, you'll make a mess underneath your fabric. All right, now I'm going to come over here. We're going to come to the outside of this thread guide and pull it in, just like that. And then we'll follow this thread guide, come down around the tension assembly, up. We're going to come on the right side of the take-up lever, all the way to the back, come around to the left side and then come back. And if you look right here, it kind of shows you a little U on number 6 there. Now we're going to come down, and we have another thread guide right here. That piece there, we're going to catch that. Then we have a thread guide on the needle bar right here. We're going to catch that. Just like so. Now all we got to do is thread the needle. You can thread it by hand, or you can use the needle threader. On this one, to use the needle threader, make sure that your needle is all the way up. Okay? It's going to make it the easiest way. Pull this down, and when you pull it down, it turns and catches the eye. Now I'm going to thread this. Just pull the thread over here around this little piece here, over, up under, right here at the needle. And by pulling this up like this, you're catching the little hook that comes through that eye. Now, basically, I'm just letting this thread sit here on my finger, okay? I've got it. I can't do that very easily. Basically, it's just sitting there. I'm putting my thumb on it just to make sure it doesn't fall off. If you hold it very tight, it will not pull through the eye of the needle. Okay, so there it is. Pulled through the eye. And now I can get it off that little hook and finish pulling it through. Now I'm going to pull this thread back. I'm going to pull my bobbin thread up through the needle plate. So I will lay this to the back, put my thumb on it, and we'll make one full revolution, just like that. You just saw this thread come around and catch that bobbin thread. Okay, now it's pulled up on it. I'm going to pull just a little bit more, and then I'm going to grab this screwdriver and just pull everything through, just like that. Now I can put I've got my bobbin thread up. I'll put my plate on, my bobbin cover plate, and now I will get my upper thread through the foot and to the back. Now I can get some fabric on this and test it and see what we do. All right, so I got my fabric, I got it up here, I got it ready. Now, this is really important. I see a lot. I have groups and stuff that I work in to help people, and they're having problems with their machine. And so to show their problems or to test the machine, they'll just start the machine, whether they push the button, or push the foot control, either way. The problem with that is the machine starts and it has a speed that it goes to, and you've got a problem, so it immediately starts making a mess, and in just a second or two you can have a huge mess. If you're testing a machine, if you're checking a machine, rather than starting it on its own, rather than hitting the pedal or the start button or whatever, turn it by hand. You're going to be able to hear it, you're going to be able to see it, and you're going to be able to feel in the hand wheel if there's a problem or not. And it's going to keep you from making a huge mess and then having to fix it and possibly even damage other parts of the machine. So like your bobbin case, if it were to pull your bobbin, you know it's having a problem, and you start it and it pulls the bobbin case out of whack, and then the needle hits it. You know, if you're turning it by hand, that's not going to happen. So here we go. We're going to turn it by hand, make sure that everything looks and feels good. Okay, so it feels good. I see it feeding. I'm not seeing any major problems here. I'm going to speed up a little bit. Okay, so at this point, I'm going to go a little bit further because I want to I want to see the back of the fabric, see if it's doing anything crazy or not. I did forget one thing, and I'll talk about it here in just a minute. See if I can, well, I'll just pull it out. There we go. Okay, so we're not looping or anything. Okay, so overall it looks good. So we're not going to make a mess. So we're good. I'll cut that. Put it back under here where it was at. We'll start again. Now, I'm sure that if you've been sewing for very long, you have started to sew, and then all of a sudden your thread got pulled out of your hook. The reason that happens is because where your machine is when you start to sew. Most of the time on electronic machines, it's not an issue because it starts and stops in the same place every time. Your take-up lever. If your take-up lever is not at the very top, ready to start coming down, and so like, let's say that your take-up lever is sitting right here, and you start to sew, as that take-up lever comes up, it's pulling your thread. And if you've only got an inch of thread sticking out the back out of this needle, this is going to pull that inch out right now. And then, of course, you're not sewing. So always make sure that your take-up lever is all the way up and ready to start down. So if you can see that thing moving right there, it's going the correct way. It's all the way up, and it's just about to start going down. So that's exactly where I want it. All right, here we go. I'm not using the foot control. I'm going to use the button here. I've got my everything set on slow. One thing that I forgot to mention a while ago is the tension assembly. I had looked at it, but I didn't talk about it. So it's sitting on 3. I personally start on 4, and I recommend that if you've got a tension assembly that goes from 0 to 9 or 1 to 10 or whatever it is, that you put yours on 4 as well. That's a great place to start any machine, and then you can make adjustments as needed as you look at your stitch, see how it works, and make whatever adjustments you need. So got that on 4. I've got this on slow. Here we go. So it looks good. It sounds good. We're going to speed it up some. See if it gives us any problems. It's not. It's continuing to sound good and look good. Okay. So that's probably good enough. Now this thing should have a knife on it, I think. But I'm not seeing. Oh yeah, this is probably it right here. There we are. And it cut the thread and it works. So what I did, other than using the knife, I just tested it to make sure that the knife's going to work properly. It sounded good, it looked good, and it cut the thread just like it was supposed to without a problem. Now I'm going to do a zigzag. Let's talk about the stitch. So overall, looks like it made a nice, decent stitch on this on the front side. Turn this over. The back looks good. The top stitch is pulling the bottom stitch in nice, very nice. And so it's making the stitch inside the fabric as opposed to looping one thread looping the other, whether it be on the bottom or the top. Okay, so we are going to check out a zigzag and see what it does on a zigzag. So now I'll put the foot down. We've got, it's electronic, so it starts in the right spot. Now I need to find where the zigzag is. So I'll lift this up, turn this around. So mode 2, well, I'm in mode 1. I assume this, no, this isn't going to be mode 1. All right, so I'm going to go to mode 2 because it tells me mode 2, and then it shows me my zigzag. So we're going to go to mode 2 right there, and then we're going to go to number all right, my cameraman told me that we were having a problem seeing the screen because of a glare, so we made some changes. Anyway, so I talked to you about mode. I'm going to take it back to mode 1 where it was. So we were on mode 1. This, when I look up here, it tells me that I need to be in mode 2, zigzag 08. So I'm going to go to mode 2, and we're going to go to 08. 08. There it is. Now we're on zigzag. I'm going to turn this back down, and I'm going to turn the hand wheel by hand again in the event that there's a problem. There we go. So it looks like everything's going fine, so we're going to go ahead and start it. Here we go. Okay. All right. Now, I've tested that. That's working good. I want to do a full width. Okay. When I'm doing this, I want to do a full width. So, and the reason is that's going to tell me if there is even the slightest timing issue with this machine. If it's slightly out of time one way or the other, it will skip on me, usually skip several times on one side or the other, always on the same side. Again, if it's not properly timed. So I'm going to go to my width right here, and we're going to just take it all the way up as high as it'll go. There we are. All right, I'm going to slow that back down. We're going to start slow again. Okay, and now we're going to speed up. Okay, I didn't see it skip, but we're going to double check it. So we'll cut it. Turn that back down. All right, pull it out. And we will just start up here. Well, I'll hold this way first. Put some more light on the subject. Okay, so from the small zigzag, from here to here, until we got to the wider one, which goes the rest of the way, it doesn't look like it made a single skip whatsoever. It's puckering the fabric a little bit, but it's not skipping whatsoever. But what it is doing right here. So right here, in a couple of different places, it's actually pulling my bobbin stitch up. And I've got some areas where the bobbin stitch is pulling my upper stitch down. So what we're having is we are having some tension issues on probably coming off of the thread spool. And we're going to work on this and see if we can get this fixed. I'm not going to do it right now. It's going to be after I service it. There could be a number of things that's causing this. Like I said, it can be tension coming off the thread spool. It can be gunk built up in the tension discs. I can have lint underneath my bobbin case. There could be a problem in my bobbin case. There could be a problem in my needle plate. There could be a lot of things that's causing this. So once I get it serviced and repaired, then we're going to test it again. If it's doing similar, or if it's doing the same thing, then we're going to find the problem and see about getting that fixed. So if you've got any questions, put your questions down below. Oh, you know what? I want to do one more thing. I need to do one more test. And so what this is going to do is this is going to test our back stitch and let us know if we're having any problems with our back stitch. If you're wondering what a back stitch is, that's on your specialty stitches, or I can't think, for stretch material, stretch stitches. Okay, so that does a back stitch. And so we are going to choose number 50. We're going to check number 50, and that is still under mode 2, so we'll keep it in mode 2, 50. There we are. We're going to see what 50 does. It shouldn't have a problem at this point. I've done a straight stitch and a zigzag, so there's, other than properly feeding, it shouldn't have an issue with making a mess of any type. So we're going to get that started. Although, because we're doing a back stitch, I'm going to increase my foot tension, make it a little bit more, because it's going to be pushing this material back and forth. I want to make sure that we're not going to have an issue with that. So here we go. Okay. Okay, cut it. We'll check it out. So you can see the stitch. It looks really, really good. So if it's not working properly, these stitches will be pulled apart, okay? So if stitches aren't good, they'll do one or two things. They'll either be extended out, or they'll be pulled together real tight. So if they're extended out, you know, you can see it, because what it does is it makes broken diamonds. So like right here, you can see that is like a diamond. And instead of being all together, you'll see they'll be pulled apart and they won't touch. The diamond edges will not touch. They'll be just that. They'll be pulled apart, and you'll see space in between them. If it's not feeding far enough, if it's too close together, it'll just be a heavy stitch. That's it, just a heavy dark stitch. If you've messed with this much, you probably understand what I'm saying. Anyway, if you have any questions, let me know. Put it down in the comments. And that wraps us up for this. The next part, in our next part 2, I'm going to show how to open this machine, and then we'll talk about different aspects inside the machine.